We are ready for the very first game of the day here at day number 2 of PNC 2023. It's Miramar, it's the Dusty Dunes, let's go.
And PUBG Nations Cup 2023 continues on here. Map number 1 on Miramar as the plane takes to the sky. And look at this plane path paper thin. This is about as fair as it gets if you're going to split the map diagonally. I mean, pretty much everything is in play. A little bit hard to get up to, maybe the northeastern portion of the map. But besides that, so many areas to drop.
Exactly. This is about as fair as it gets. So let's see how the teams are going to attack it. Let's see if again, I'm really keen on that Contera area with the Vietnam squad and the Turkey squad. But I think Turkey is getting out a little bit later today, so I think we're done with that hot drop. I think Turkey realizing that, they can, there's still always something to play for because every position that you finish at has a different, prize pool available to you. So you want to finish as high as possible. So absolutely still, even though it's a bad day for Turkey, they want to, come out strong here on day 2.
Hey, you turn it around. Maybe you finish top 12, top 8. That's a lot more prize money. It's not winner takes all here at PUBG Nations Cup. Every placement matters. And on top of that, there's a lot of pride on the line, too, for these guys at Turkey. We all know that they're better than the performance that they showed on day number 1. And so we'll see what they have in store for us here on day number 2. I like that they're avoiding the hot drops, which really did not go their way in those opening maps.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, southwest circle. Right, barely touching that plane path, so a pretty difficult one. An interesting one here for Korea with their Chumasera drop spot to see exactly how they're going to navigate this. Again, I don't know for sure with this 25.1 Miramar if the land ratio stuff works the same. I kind of have an assumption that this part of the map didn't actually change too much compared to other parts of the map. So my guess could be that it kind of functions the same, but again, we have to kind of wait and see as we are in uncharted territory here. Keenan has to use a smoke to make sure that this buggy is going to be safe from Argentina's sight lines.
Yeah, nice, smart, safe play there by Keenan. He's just going to go rendezvous with his teammates, gather a little bit more loot. And for many of these teams right now, looking at the map feed, it's going to be a long journey to get into this very southwestern circle given the plane path. I mean, this is it's got to be about as far southwest as it can go, right? It barely clips, I think, the diagonal split the plane took.
Yeah, exactly. I think you're absolutely right. I don't think it can go based on that plane path much further southwest. And as you should all know, or maybe if you're new to PUBG Sports, that the first circle has to touch the plane path. That is part of the rule set. So that is why we are, kind of in awe of this circle a little bit because it is pretty extreme for that plane path. But that's good. I did switch to Americanos today.
Yeah, I was wondering, man. Yeah. All those PWS and PCSs, we're always talking about the coffee, You had an extra cup, and then suddenly the circles are crazy. We're getting, what, like 50% water on Miramar somehow?
It is my superpower, yeah. Yeah.
All right, we got an interview ready with Unforgiven.
We got this opportunity, and we would like to make the best of it by achieving the best result. That is, we are looking forward to at least top 8 in this finals event. I would like to thank all the Indian fans back home for supporting us for this time and during the Indian qualifier, and we will hope that fans would continue supporting us in the finals, and don't forget to vote for us. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think India still trying to get the feel for this level of PUBG esports, never having the opportunity to compete on stage outside of their region. This is the first chance they've gotten. And I really hope today we get to see some changes. They've got a good opportunity here today with this circle to get a little more center. They had to play a lot of edge yesterday based on their drop, where they were dropping and where the circles went. Didn't go their way. Today could be different. USA in the sandstorm. Somebody, queue up Darude. And we,
I was just waiting for somebody to drop
I do
that.
Every time I play with my friends. As soon as this thing comes, we all just start singing Sandstorm.
You start singing it?
Yeah. Well, as best as you can, right? Yeah.
Hum along.
Yeah. Hum along to it. That's a better way to put it. Yeah. But all this Sandstorm really doesn't do too much damage. It slows you down if you're walking or running. but that's about it. So
it can create some really interesting situations if you're kind of in a close quarter situation with another team already. But yeah, otherwise, if you're just traversing the map like this,
it's just,
you do take a little bit of damage, but also it's kind of nice to have what is basically the goated soft cover where no one can really see you as you're moving. You're never going to have somebody in a compound 200 meters away crack a couple of headshots on you with a Mini 14, for instance. Yeah, if you're driving through that sandstorm. Same way on Vikendi with the snowstorms.
Yeah, you're hoping that that thing comes when you're driving by Himas, man. Like, he was
yeah,
just doming people yesterday when they were driving. But
even when Vietnam wasn't doing particularly well in the first couple of maps, like Himas with a DMR at range was just continuously shredding people, especially in vehicles driving by.
Exactly, yeah. But also the other thing to note with the sandstorm is your mini map down in the bottom right-hand corner is obscured by the sandstorm. But if you go to the big map, you can actually see, relatively well. So that's just kind of annoying, I would say, more than anything. It just makes it a little hard to judge where you're driving, but that's the only other real big difference. Sparking, good start for Brazil yesterday. They won the very first match of the day. Looking to repeat, talking to Sparking, they were really happy with their start. Oh, what? Okay, well, Vietnam's just going to get right up close and personal. They can barely see each other inside of this. Haisaki's got one. Savior here trying to do something, but Haisaki finds another. And Vietnam able to come through this sandstorm with 2 kills.
Yeah, TPA Xavier trying to actually get something done there, but instead it's going to be him and Zenon both getting taken out. And those close quarter combats so precarious here. Now Leo going to try and salvage the situation a little bit. He gets the headshot there on Aisaki. And that is a down teammate in the back of that vehicle. So there is no recovery here for Vietnam.
And no one's close enough for Vietnam to do anything about this right yet.
We were talking about how sometimes you get those close quarter situations in these sandstorms and it can get very chaotic very quickly. That's one of those instances where maybe if they see each other better, they divert course. They don't stop and try and pick up an additional vehicle there on that roadside, and both Chinese Taipei and Vietnam would be able to emerge with potentially their full rosters out, but instead the sandstorm comes into the equation. Both of these top teams losing players early.
Exactly. Now, Himas and Duckjuice trying to see what they can do. Turkey, the Mad, coming dangerously close to China and already taking a whole bunch of damage from Crazy, and Aches left there to follow up. A good 1-2 punch here for China, and that's going to be the Mad down early.
Yeah, he just had no clue that China was already occupying this compound, and to have Aches left spraying you down like that right from the get-go is hard. And Leo with a really nice spray at range, I think with, what was it, hollow sight? Getting Finn up there on the top of the hill. Might have been a 2x, only had a faint glimpse of that one, but still, excellent AR control.
That's huge. I mean, Leo here able to get some more points for Chinese Taipei after kind of a rough start, potentially. It looked like maybe Haisaki was going to walk away with Clories and 2 kills, but Leo able to get there quick enough. Now Vietnam angry, and surprise, surprise, look who it is with the DMRs.
Yeah, Himas takes down Pongsko right there, getting a little bit more revenge as Vietnam and Chinese Taipei just continue to go at each other's throats. It's just Leo now up for Chinese Taipei. He is pulling himself up in that house. Pongsker pretty much lost to the winds right here, all the way out in the middle of the open.
I'm kind of curious to see what Canada wants to do. Are they looking for a little revenge from Finna? They are going to definitely see a couple players from Vietnam. How do they want to approach this? They do have Keenan swinging to try to find the flank angle. Shinboy gonna let him know that they're here. Try to probably buy a little bit of time and attention. See if Keenan can strike from the side.
I like the 2-1 split that Canada's running and trying to just encircle his position, but man, Duckjuice with some fantastic shooting there. Almost gets the knock on Adam. A lot of players coming into this event. We're talking about Duckjuice is one of those guys to watch out for, one of those guys to add here at T-Wire fantasy team. And he really racked up the damage there on day one.
Yeah, and look at the senses here from these Vietnamese players. They sense that something was amiss, that there was a player unaccounted for, and they're able to spot and identify Keenan. Denmark sitting close to Fex. Fex on the other side. The reinforcements are coming for the UK. Fex going to try to go up on the roof, but Denmark already inside, and Vard is going to go down. Looks like he might be able to be flushed, potentially. Enough of that Bronco in the way, but he is dangerously close to bleeding out.
Yeah, I'm guessing that Beamy was close enough that he could have heard the footsteps there on the roof, so Kino should have a pretty good idea of what to look out for. But T-Bone here with a high ground, just overviewing everything like an overseer as nades come in. China, Japan, man, it's a lot of early fighting here on Miramar to start the day.
Yeah, I mean, again, if you kind of can identify these Japanese players' rotations early, they like to split. We saw it yesterday that they got punished a couple times, and China completely confident in this maneuver, caught Kane unawares, takes him down as Aix left, run AX, trying to do what he can to hold an angle here, but now, oh, they're coming from both sides. Can he get more than one? No. The trade is there, really well played by China.
I mean, that's the benefit of working together as a unit, and China just historically, you know, in PCS Asia's for, you know, years, for it feels like centuries, just absolutely dominating with this fantastic teamwork here as the circle centers up there on the northwest, but that's what this team does the best. You know, China, you put this team up in a 4v4 against pretty much anyone else in the world, and I would favor them full stop.
A lot. yeah. Me too. I really love the way they're playing here today. Aggressive, that's what you want to see. That's when it feels like the Chinese teams are at their best. Fex still on this roof, but again, Denmark not really giving him any opportunities to do much damage. T-Bone played great yesterday, putting up tons of fantasy points, coming through here to try to support his teammate.
Yeah, T-Bone just continuing to hold on to that high ground for now, I believe, as Honey Badger is going to try and lend some supports effects here on the ground. It's a precarious situation, though. Kind of a complicated one with players inside the building, outside the building, on the rooftops, on the rocks, overseeing this position. Nade comes in. Oh, Honey Badger, lucky he got that nade off.
Oh, what a turn there by Fex. That's clipped down. Gustav trying to drive in, but that's right under the sideline of Fex, and those bullets just not connecting. That barrel spray just a little bit too hard to handle for the unbelievable player that Fex is, one of the all-time legends. Honey Badger going to go down to Beamy, though, and that's going to open up some space here potentially for Denmark to get this res.
Gustav and Fex trading some frag grenades here, as of yet unable to connect that one. Shielded by the wall a little bit was Gustav, as UK and Denmark just continues to work at each other's throats. And BB, oh man, nice shot right there on Fex coming in, just immediately pops him down. UK down to one lone player remaining.
Those are some big points for Denmark.
Yeah.
Climbing up to third, tied with Vietnam now in the leaderboard, and they're going to be all four up. And now UK just left with T-Bone, who's going to have to play salvage, going to have to play recovery. Germany, yep, guess what? They're on the edge of the circle. They like to drop via Damar, and then they like to just play that southwestern edge, and they do it to perfection. Australia looking to change their fortunes, change their destiny, and they've got an open compound ahead of them. A really good one in this circle potentially. If this circle ends anywhere near this compound, especially if there's a lot of the southern vantage point from this compound in it, disgustingly powerful.
Yeah, especially with a full four-man squad up, you're able to hold yourself off from raids, people diving that compound quite effectively if you have a good defensive position established. And Germany right now holding on to the bottom left, looking at the map feed. I love them playing the edge of this circle, especially the hill that It's Chris is on, just above where Brazil is and to the northwest of India. Fantastic position here as we see India working their way up the neighboring hill right across the road. See if they're going to find an angle here on Korea. And Nonex is sniffing this one out, trying to jump and see exactly who is coming and how many. And he's probably just going to retreat back to this compound, back to the safety, as Team Korea is spread quite evenly all across Chumacera.
This is an interesting setup that Korea has opted for. Thinking back to some Danawa games, when they're given Chumacera circles like this, they usually try to kind of solidify one edge of the city or the other. But this is them just like kind of peacocking, right? Spreading their feathers throughout this entire city and just thwarting anybody from trying to get through. And so far, so good, I'd say, in terms of controlling that space. And yeah, Australia is going to eventually solidify this compound. And, Tiggleton talking to him a little bit before the match today. Not, obviously thrilled with the way that they played yesterday, but he feels like this is going to be a big-time different day. Now, curious to see how Korea is going to approach this, if they're going to consolidate with Loki, China continuing to harass Turkey.
I would imagine that Korea is going to consolidate a little bit here on Chumacera, maybe work their way up towards the northwest so you have an easy out should the circle start to work in that way.
And there's some of that high ground on the edge, that western edge of Chumacera to play with. So I would like to see them do that too. Very curious. I would think they might be going for that. I saw a bolt in It's Chris's hand, so let's go. Let's get some more bolt action.
Yeah, he's got a barrel and a Kar 98. Those are two fun guns.
That's my combo, man. That's actually what I really like to play with these days. Barrel, Kar 98, chef's kiss.
Yeah, it's a really fun one. All right, so Brazil's going to be working their way down into this low ground compound here, just below Germany's hill. Now Denmark trying their best to work their way into the circle. They do have India ahead of them, Translucent trying to shell Beamy here. Beamy, he's been such a hot shot so far this event, however. I mean, really, the Denmark team all around has been spectacular, whether it's Beamy or Kino, and also Gustav just absolutely popping off with the damage there on day one.
Yeah, there's a reason Gustav is a longtime FaZe Clan member. It's because of his consistency, not only as a player, as an individual player, but as an IGL as well. So just a brilliant all-star player is Gustav. Love to see it. Vietnam, 2 left. Can they find any more success in this game? You know, yeah, you got 3 kills, but man, if Vietnam could, you know, rat out a couple more, maybe find a couple more points here or there, then you would consider this a relatively successful game.
Yeah, I think just try to play for a little bit of placement points here. Maybe get a couple of picks on a team that's moving out of a compound or trying to make some kind of a rotation. You could be happy with this one.
Uh-oh. This is bad for India.
Oh,
The timing here could be really disastrous. Gustav is going to hear these vehicles. Is there going to be a grenade flying in? No, he doesn't have any, so he's just going to go up and over. Such a brutal angle there. 2 for Gustav. Can he find more? Torreta, no, can't get the spray under control, and Gustav is going to wipe India.
Wow, that was a goated pounce on that location. Gustav just coming in. India horrendously slow trying to work their way out of that position. Those vehicles had all the time in the world to try and actually start to vacate it, but instead it was Gustav just waiting in the wings. As soon as they came out of that smoke, he was ready to mow them down. I mean, that's just another highlight reel performance for Gustav, who continues to add on to really a spectacular PUBG Nations Cup 2023.
The worst part of that is I'm pretty sure Killarts has him on his fantasy team. All right, H-Win trying to fend off Turkey. Turkey, not many other options other than trying to kind of establish a beachhead in front of them. Laza going to play anchor behind. And, you know, they don't have to push up this hill. They don't have to contest the USA. I can already see Panzerfaust kind of being funneled around here in USA to make sure that they're ready for any push, as the circle is going to go hard to the west, and Brazil and Australia in particular feeling great about that.
Yeah, that's a really good circle for those compounds. You were talking about it earlier. Should Australia be able to hold on to that position and the circle go that way?
This is very similar to the game that Thailand won in PNC in 2022 in some ways, and it's like the same teams. It's Brazil and Thailand in potentially similar spots, so I'm kind of curious to see how that plays out. The one game that Thailand was able to win on their home turf in Bangkok last year.
Yeah, there are some advantages to being on the high ground where Thailand is, you know, unless the circle hard shifts down to the south. As Crazy112 just doing crazy things here with this 8x MK12. Getting a lot of damage in. Man, China, they're just playing so aggressively today. I love this action from them. They get the opening knock. Molotov's coming in. That's Logoscore getting that shit boy. And oh my goodness, Canada, try as you might, you are not going to be able to escape the grasp of Team China, but it's Chris with the bolt action, gets the headshot there on Eggs left. He lined up perfectly in that vehicle.
What a shot from It's Chris. It's actually going to be stolen, or not stolen, but confirmed by Brexco. Longsker now behind this shack, and China rocking and rolling here with 7 kills. Longsker trying to smoke his way through. Crazy now driving in, try to reinforce. This is still outside of the next circle for China. Germany does not want to give them any more opportunities. Look at Himas on the wings, seeing if he can find an angle down. Grenades splashing close, and it is going to confirm show.
Fantastic nades coming out of It's Chris, man. This guy's on my fantasy bench. I should have put him in the main lineup today. Spectacular stuff as It's Chris gets the confirmation there with a frag and the knock with a bolt. All it is lonesome, too. I mean, that was him just being a one-man army, third-partying that Chinese fight.
Korea has a tricky situation here. They've got a couple teams around their outskirts. A few of them beat up with a full Argentina roster. Great shots there from Loki with the mini double headshots on a T-bone. Going to give another point over to Korea. Now their attention needs to be in their northeastern direction. Argentina, Vietnam, China all up here.
Yeah, luckily for Team Korea, Argentina and Vietnam probably going to make a little bit of noise with this rotation unless Hamas really decides to rat it out. You can see him deciding whether or not he's going to spray. Actually, Shrimzy catches him for a ton of damage there coming from the outside. So Himas instead just going to buy his time, heal up behind this rock. That's going to be Argentina moving closer to this position that China's holed up in.
China still playing defense now. Crazy already got a knock onto Rybox.
Wow.
Crazy trying to go for more, but the grenades are going to back him off momentarily. Now here comes Korea trying to get involved in this action from afar. Grenades are just absolutely tearing apart these teams. It's going to be China going down and Argentina trying to brute force their way in.
Argentina, Germany, and China all getting some frag grenade action in these close quarters. The circle's going to shift all the way up to the north, so Thailand and Australia really happy with this one, but the skirmish continues over here for this southeastern quadrant. Seoul continuing to try to go ham, but that's a long line of sight on those USA players.
Yeah, Ale, the last one left here for Argentina, looking to maybe go for a res. Himas coming in from behind through the blue. I don't think Korea has any clue that he's there, but that grenade sails right over Loki's head. I don't even think he saw it. Okay, finally, no. He has no idea. He's down. He is out. What a play there from Himas.
Himas with no first aid kit, still very low on HP. Would love to try and get a little bit of scraps out of that one, but Inonix is going to try and shut him down, and yes, with the Yog, gets the headshot right over the crest of that hill to kill Himas, but the damage is done. It's a lot of damage coming into Team Korea, and time is of the essence for them to try to work their way into this circle. Germany is just waiting in the wings there in the southeastern side.
Yeah, there's not a lot to play with that isn't already controlled by teams inside of this current circle. So Korea gonna have to either fight their way or find some hills on the bottom, on the southern edge of the circle, but the southern edge of the circle is on the low ground. It's a dangerous spot to be in. Kickstart already doing some damage to Denmark, looking for more, but the smokes are out. So Kickstart just going fishing there with those shots. Brazil on the outside looking in on this new circle. Denmark ahead, but they're already beaten up and sparking, getting some huge mortar kills right on top of Denmark. The vehicle explosion gonna confirm.
Man, he took out his abacus to get to do the math on that one, man. That was perfect. Lined it up for him. First big mortar shot that I think we've gotten here at PUBG Nations Cup, and it was a glorious one.
An abacus.
An abacus, man. That's how you got to do it.
I love that. That is great. oh, Snakers. Oh, Snakers. One more shot. There it is. Great shooting on Kowo, trying to run his way in. A little bit of damage done, but Kino down and out. Thailand taking him down is sparking, continuing to heat up here. 3 kills already.
Yeah, a lot of kills there for sparking as Denmark just really trying their best to work their way around clockwise into the circle, but with both Brazil and Thailand right there, all the way on the western side, it was just a gauntlet to try and run them their way through. So Denmark right now sitting in 3rd place. They are out of this lobby. And look at the standings right now. Top 8. Yeah, we have the AWM on sparking, but all these teams in contention to move up in the standings. And Australia also looking to salvage what was not a very good day 1 here with a big game to start off day 2.
Exactly. Oh, Ale doing a little bit of damage here. Still trying to claw his way through. A little bit of space left to maneuver to get into this next circle. It's Chris. Shrimzy as well. Keeping an eye on him. Shrimzy's going to have to move with the circle, but so is Ale. Ale, not sure if he has any more smokes. Doesn't look like it. And it's Chris trying to tap him down and will do so with that barrel. But Heaven going to put a little splash of damage into his backside. Circle continues to favor Australia. And this is near impossible for Australia to lose unless they can't control that northeastern edge of that compound.
Yeah, Australia just in a fantastic position with this one, but one of the downsides of being in a compound like that for so long is up to this point they really haven't been able to get any kills, just 1 in total on the board, and there's going to be a lot of pickings here on the fringes as we see Vinny trying to get something done, does get a lot of damage in on that moving vehicle, but no knocks just yet as Korea is going to try and rotate their way in. They do have a lot more playable terrain with this circle. It's really the next circle that concerns me for Korea's fate.
Yeah, and here's the thing, if Thailand and Brazil really beat each other up, that might open up some space here for Korea, but right now Brazil is not being harassed from that northern flank, so Korea is being harassed by Brazil, but now those shots are ringing out from Thailand, alerting Brazil to their presence, at least giving them a check as LFP1, and LFP1 back towards Seoul. And it's actually Rosada Jr. from Thailand, and he is quickly taken out. Actually, that AWM, that's why it's so useful. Good for flushing.
Yeah, good for stealing those kills. Sparking gets that flush. And now Micah coming in. He's right below USA. I don't think they have any idea. Snakers, he was down prone. Luckily, Shrimzy was able to do a ton of damage to try and stem the bleeding there. And then finally, Shrimzy was able to clean up Micah. But that one knock, Germany's going to try and take advantage of it. And it's Chris with a good barrel spray able to take down Kickstart.
Shrimzy trying to do what he can to keep Germany off of the USA's front lines, but the circle is going to force the issue. A blue zone bag is there for Shrimzy. He's going to try to win this fight. It's Chris has been so good this game so far. using that barrel to great effect, but Shrimsy just a little bit better. Kowo trying to bail him out. He's got one. He only needs one more shot to connect.
Wow.
He does it. Great shooting there from the coach from Germany.
With what, 1 bullet left in the barrel, he was able to make that one happen. Now Thailand is actually going to be able to pick off It's Chris. So it's just Kowo standing here, but he was able to net a lot of points for Germany, who is now sitting in first place at 67 with 7 kills, and Kowo still surviving for now.
Yeah, brilliant stuff from him, subbing in for Germany the last couple of days. Korea, even though they lose Seoul, still have 2 up. And Onyx, Heaven, these two absolutely can frag out, but you've got a 4-man of Brazil, you got a 4-man of Thailand, you got that AWM in Sparking's hands. This is a really, really tough situation for anybody that doesn't have the 4-man roster still up, Germany and Korea, with those odd-man situations. And plenty of room here for Brazil for now. Thailand sitting on the high ground. Love to see what Thailand's vehicle situation is like for this potential next circle.
Yeah, they've been mostly moving on foot, so I'm not too keenly aware, but they have a really nice sight line on Brazil right now. Just not enough guns to actually take good advantage of it. And Sparking with AWM picks up a headshot. Insult to injury there.
Oh, Kowo ran out of bullets, and it's actually Vinny. He's going to get that kill. So now you've got your last 4 teams. Circle continues to sit onto Australia. But they only have 1 kill out of this compound so far.
Yeah.
And they control the space. Again, it's the win condition very much for Australia here. It's just how many more kills can they get to secure this win.
Yeah, they're certainly going to get a lot of placement points at this one as Thailand using their high ground. Brazil, they have to get out of that low ground position and try and maneuver. But the thing with Thailand is they just have so much hard cover on the crest of that hill that Brazil really can't find an opening. Even if you get a knock, that only buys you a little bit of time with so many guns up here for Thailand. The full 4-man squad. It seems like Thailand does have a handful of vehicles at their disposal. President Jr. and Tanadol going to be moving in now, coming downhill. We'll see exactly where they decide to go. Smoke's coming out from Team Brazil, getting set up for this one. And Korea's getting in on this action as well, Paper Thin.
Yeah, this is tough. Thailand trying to put some pressure onto Brazil, but getting slowed up here on their driving is costing them at least 1 player, potentially more. Tanadol stuck behind this trailer, that coupe about to blow up in his face. Sparking letting loose with his grenades, trying to see if they can finish the job on a Tanadol, but so far, Tanadol avoiding critical damage, but the blue is on his behind, and he is going to have to beeline it towards the new zone.
They're going to use that smoke for some soft cover right now, but eventually the blue zone will catch up with Tanadol. Knocks him down. Korea, they're still holding on to this crest of the hill, but Australia, they've already moved out of the compound. They know that the victory is in their grasp, but they want to rack up a little bit more kills. I think they're noticing all these teams cannibalizing each other on the fringes, and they want to add to their point score with a win.
Yeah, and Brazil is able to wipe Korea out, so now Australia putting their sight lines down on top of Brazil. Brazil, a tough situation to fight out of here. Can they do it? We know that they've got the firepower. They've got that arm for Sparking. Could make a difference here. Utility being let loose. Waikikimukau on the edges, putting a little bit of damage into Haven. Gonna have to reload, and it looks like Australia is gonna reset.
Yeah, Brazilian player is very battered and bruised right now. LFP1 only got a 3rd HP, gonna have to pop a med kit or a first aid kit to try and get back into this one. Keep in mind there is still that AWM on Sparking with a couple brilliant chest shots. You might be able to make something happen here for Team Brazil, but the odds are stacked against them. And I love this arc for Team Australia.
Yep, Tiggleton's just got to be careful here. Doesn't want to overextend, doesn't want to give Sparking any opportunities. And he's being rather careful, just keeping that edge under control, making sure that nobody from Brazil is going to be able to flank out and keep it contained for the rest of his squad. And he's being very quick with these up and overs with this AUG, not really affording them any opportunities for a response.
Yeah, he's all right with taking 1 or 2 hits in damage as he did just then, but not much more than that. He's really anchoring down this right position, giving room for the rest of his teammates to set up this flank as you see them establishing over here on the western side. And Tiggleton now is getting a little bit more brave because he's trying to keep these Brazilian players busy. He wants to keep them focused on him to set up for Waikikimukau and the rest of the crew to come in from the side. And okay, flashbang's coming out. Here we go, paper thin.
Here come the grenades as well. Being able to sit on all this utility for Australia is going to be huge. Why kick a Mukau? That's one, but a good grenade from LFP1. Suddenly, Australia with 2 members, but Luke able to respond. Luke able to find the 3rd, and Australia is going to find their first chicken dinner of PNC 2023.
Great way to start day 2 for Team Australia. Only 4 kills, but they get the chicken dinner, so a lot of points on the board for them, and maybe the comeback begins here on day 2, map number 1. Brazil, they really wanted to go back-to-back and win the opening map 2 days in a row. Unfortunately, not able to make it happen, but, you know, as a consolation prize, 8 kills in total in 2nd place.
Still a really good game from Brazil. Nothing to turn your nose up at all. I mean, Brazil in a very difficult position at the end of that game, really fought tooth and nail. Honestly, in difficult positions for some time with both Korea and Thailand kind of flanked out around them, able to fight their way through and get that 2nd place. Genuinely impressive.
Very good stuff from Team Brazil, but it's the Australians, the fighting blue, come through with a win. 2 men standing.